There's a saying, good things will come when the time is right, but you have to put in the effort first. It's like planting seeds in spring to get a harvest later. Just wishing for good things won't make them happen, you have to work for them, like planting those seeds. It might seem hard, but if you take chances, help others, or take risks, good things will come eventually. You might not see results right away, but if you keep trying, your hard work will pay off. You can achieve more by improving yourself. If you don't change, your life will stay the same. But if you're open to change, the next 5 years could be completely different. Without change, the next 5 years might be like the last. Think of life and business as seasons that change, like in the song Life is Like the Seasons by Frank Sinatra. Just like you can't change the seasons themselves, you can't control everything that happens to you. Winter always follows fall, then comes spring, and finally, the harvest. But here's the important part, even though you can't change the circumstances, you can change yourself. You might not be able to control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you react to it. In the past, you might have felt confused by changes, but now you're more confident. While we can't control external things, like the unpredictable wind, we can change ourselves by adjusting our attitude, refining our philosophy, and improving our habits. Seasons and circumstances stay the same, but we have the power to transform ourselves. We all face the same challenges, but it's up to us to make the most of them. Looking inward and reflecting on ourselves is key. When I was 25, I met a teacher who helped me see things differently. Before that, I had lots of excuses for why my life was hard in the past 6 years. I blamed the government, circumstances, taxes, and high prices, all the usual stuff. But my wise teacher showed me that the most important thing wasn't changing external things, but changing myself in the face of challenges. I realized I could be the one to shape my own future. This idea excited me so much that I couldn't sleep for the first year. Knowing that I could make a big change in my life and control my destiny was really empowering. Instead of blaming others or waiting for things to change on their own, I changed my mindset. I stopped blaming external factors and accepted that it was up to me to make things happen. Realizing this made me really excited because I realized I could work on improving myself. I couldn't change the whole economy or how banks work, but I could change myself. I could set new goals, move to new places, and break free from feeling stuck. Unlike a tree or an animal that acts on instinct, I could make choices and decide my own path. You also have the ability to think, reflect, reason, gather ideas, and make big changes in your life. It's an ongoing journey to discover who you can be throughout your life. Personal growth is the key to a satisfying life because who you become matters more than what you have. When thinking about your job, the important question isn't just about what you're getting, but also about who you're becoming. What you become directly affects what you get in life. A lot of what we have is attracted by the person we've become. It's an ongoing journey to find out what you can become. Personal growth is really the key to a satisfying life because who you become matters more than what you have. You can have more than you currently do because you can become more than you are now. On the other hand, if you don't change your current situation, you'll keep having what you have now. To achieve the things we want in the future, the first step is to get serious about personal development. Take your personal commitment seriously and stay focused on your future goals. Make personal development a priority and set new goals for yourself. Next, aim to become knowledgeable. Learn as much as you can, even if it takes time. Valuable ideas can come from unexpected sources. Sometimes, a short book may have many great ideas, while a long book might only have a few. It's important to read both types of books. You need the patience to read through long books and the excitement to find many ideas in shorter ones. Both types are important, so don't only focus on shorter books. A very important idea is to always try to get better. No matter how old you are, there's always a chance to improve yourself every day, month, and year. Work on understanding more about life, getting better at dealing with different kinds of people, and learning how to handle fear and worry. Try to improve how you talk to others so you can help them improve their lives too. Also, try to get better at imagining your future so you can make a bigger difference not just in your family, but also in your community and country. Next, it's important to ask for patience. It can be hard to be patient, especially if you want to succeed and help others succeed too. But I encourage you to ask for patience, even if it's not easy. Sometimes, patience is something we have to ask for as a gift. When dealing with people and customers, whether they're easy or tough, it's important to be patient. Sometimes promises might be made, and there could be delays. In those times, practice patience. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Take a moment to relax and be kind to yourself. You'll find that you can change and grow. Next, it's important to find some extra courage, especially when faced with tough decisions. As you think about the decisions that brought you here, you'll realize that making tough choices is an ongoing thing. Even when you go home, there will be more decisions to make. In these moments, look inside yourself for answers. Some answers might come from things like your past, reputation, or the people around you. But the toughest decisions are yours to make alone. The courage to make them comes from within, especially when you're alone and have to make tough decisions. Here's a helpful list. Have the courage to change when needed, take action if reading is what you need, and commit to reading. If listening is important, set aside time to really listen. If you want to grow, you need to start. It's important to be brave, but also humble. Even if you're successful, being humble can make you even better and your story more amazing. Remember, it's important to teach poor people not to be negative and rich people not to be too proud. Here's some more advice: be willing to compromise. Knowing when to give in a bit is important for keeping things peaceful in your community group. Learn how to compromise, give a little, let others give a little, and find a middle ground. Don't be too strict, we don't want things to fall apart completely. While it's important for everything to work well, it's also important to be good at compromising and working together. Here's another piece of advice: be brave and take risks. For many of you, coming here took a lot of bravery, risking time and making plans to be here. Now that you're going back home, it's time to keep those promises. Use the knowledge and ideas you've learned, turn them into actions. Taking action is what turns ideas into reality, like building cities or working for 6 days. Remember, it's not about resting for 6 days and then working on the 7th. The order is important: work for 6 days, then rest for 1 day, just enough time to get your energy back, not more. This idea also applies to eating. Only eat what you need to get energy, not just for the sake of eating. The main goal is to build things, like a city, a career, good health, or an organization, because they're important for the future. Focus on working for 6 days out of 7 and see the great things you can do with your own efforts, leaving a legacy for yourself, your family, and your future. If we keep putting off what needs to be done, we'll end up going in the wrong direction. You'll find that putting things off is too costly, and you'll be too excited about your goals to wait to start working on them. Putting off tasks is a big problem because when we delay them, they don't seem important at the time. Skipping a few tasks might not seem like a big deal, but if we keep doing it, it can lead to a really bad year and even a terrible life. So, what are you going to start doing today that will make your life better? That's a good question. If you don't start doing something today to make a difference, then things will stay the same. And if you look at the past 5 years, the next 5 will probably be the same unless you make a change. Let's make changes. Our world follows different rules, like math, physics, and farming laws. As people living here, we need to understand how life works. We didn't make these rules, we're just here, so it's important to learn them. Learning these rules does 2 big things. First, it keeps us safe. Knowing them helps us avoid problems in money, social life, and personal matters. Not knowing them can cause big problems. Not knowing isn't good, it's like being poor or facing a big problem. To protect yourself, you need to learn things, or else you might get hurt in different ways. Now, here's something important: you don't have to like how things are. I'm not asking you to agree with it. That's not the main point. What's important is understanding how things work. So, it's okay if you don't like it, but it's crucial to understand it. That's what I told the younger folks. Make sure you learn about it. Your own feelings about it are your business, and what you do with that knowledge is up to you. The main thing is to understand it. Nothing's worse than not knowing. Yes, not having enough money is tough, but not knowing things is even harder. It's really bad when you're struggling with money and don't know what to do. That's almost like the worst situation, unless you're also sick on top of everything else. Being sick, struggling with money, and not knowing what to do, that's the hardest. There's hardly anything worse than that. So, make sure you learn things. It's important whether you like it or not. The main reason for learning is to avoid problems. Now, here's another reason for understanding how life works: to get good things. Life has both bad and good parts, the bad stuff like tragedy, sadness, and failure, and the good stuff like happiness and success. The main thing is to focus on the good parts of life. I understand that making new habits isn't easy. It usually happens little by little, not all at once. Change happens by making small adjustments over time. Most of us move forward by consistently pushing ourselves in the right direction, trying out 1 or 2 new habits at a time, and gradually making the necessary changes. And this is where a good life comes from, those personal changes. While you can't change the seasons, you have full control over yourself. Making personal transformations requires you to feel inspired and to put in effort. Wanting to change is a good start, but you need to take action. Let inspiration and positive thoughts help you stay disciplined in your pursuits.